everybody, this is Dino Maddalone of the Ask Dino Show. Today I'm sitting here at my studio next to Tina and Frank. Anyway, on the Ask Dino Show, what we like to do, we like to bring you guest artists that are not only great performers, but people that have been in the industry a long time that have a lot of knowledge. Today we got just that kind of a guest. His name is David Elliott. Now, David is a Grammy-winning songwriter. He is a phenomenal singer. He's an actor, he's a drummer, and he's a member of a very famous music family. His mother is none other than Dionne Warwick. His cousin is Whitney Houston. And today on the show, we've got our new sponsor, A-Klein Chocolates, Village Candy Kitchen, Don Campbell, Celebrity Chocolatier. So we got David Elliott, Don Campbell, Dionne Warwick, Ask Dino Show coming at you. Bada bang!
Welcome to the Ask Dino Show, the only show where you get your questions answered about the music industry. Hosted by music biz veteran, Los Angeles record producer of the year, Dino Maddalone. With special guest artists performing and answering your questions. Brought to you by A-Klein Chocolatiers and Village Candy Kitchen, the best chocolates in the world, bringing you sweet unity. Ladies and gentlemen, Dino Maddalone.
Dino, he knows.
Hello and welcome to the Ask Dino Show. My name is Dino Maddalone. We're coming live from Los Angeles, California, and today we've got music royalty on this show. We've got probably the most well-rounded artist we've had on this show, and his name is David Elliott. David, thanks for coming down, man. I really appreciate it, man.
My pleasure.
All right.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, now you are a songwriter. You wrote a song that was a Grammy-winning song for Luther Vandross, correct?
Right.
Here and Now.
Correct. Here and Now.
All right. Unbelievable.
Thank you. Well, I co-wrote it.
You co-wrote it,
yeah.
right? You co-wrote it.
Yeah.
Correct. We'll talk about that later. Okay. You're also a producer, a drummer, an actor, and now get this, he's a cop. Okay. Now, how's that for well-rounded? He's not only a cop; he's a motorcycle cop. David is also the member of a very, very famous musical family. His cousin is Whitney Houston. We all know Whitney.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
She's doing pretty well.
Yeah, she's doing pretty good. Your brother, Damon, who's a well-respected record producer, and a nut, by the way. The guy is totally nuts.
It's all calculated.
Yeah. I saw the intervention video. That was pretty cool. Okay, and Sissy Houston is your aunt?
Sissy's my aunt.
Okay. And your father was a famous drummer and an actor on Adam 12. Mm-hmm. He actually played a motorcycle cop.
He played a motorcycle cop. He was an amazing drummer.
And now your mother is the legendary Dionne Warwick. Now, everybody, I mean, you know, we're talking the ultimate tone of voice. When you hear her voice, you know that it's her. We're going to talk about that later, too.
Okay.
But her songs were like Walk On By, Say a Little Prayer, Promises, Promises, I'll Never Love This Way Again. That's What Friends Are For, that she sang with Stevie Wonder, Elton John, Gladys Knight, on and on. Her voice is unmistakable.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Now, can I read some of your credits?
Okay.
All right. Okay. I'm messing with my notes here. Okay. Okay. Of course, we talked about you composing songs. You've won the Grammys for the songs that you've written. You're also a drummer. Mm-hmm. You play with Stevie Nicks, Lionel Richie, and of course with your mom.
Right.
Okay. Okay. And you're an actor. This guy's unbelievable. I mean, what else? You played Sam Cooke in the Michael Mann, Will Smith movie, Ali.
Yeah.
Okay. And so now you're also on tour singing with your mother.
Right.
And you're going all over the world. So can you tell us about that? How's that going?
Oh, I mean, it's a dream come true. You know, I watched her do that since I was a kid. And,
but you were a drummer for her early on,
yeah,
too.
I started at 16 with her playing drums.
Wow.
And she made me audition. I had to read the book. She didn't give it to me, you know, and it was funny. I said, "Hey, Mom, I want to play drums for you." All right. So she set up a rehearsal, and unbeknownst to me, she threw the book at me, and it was an audition. It wasn't a rehearsal.
She didn't just say, "Come on, you got the gig." She made you want to earn
serious,
the gig.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you know, and I can understand that her name is on the marquee, and you know, people come to the show to see a certain level of show. So she wanted to make sure I could handle the seat. So you know, but now touring with her as a singer, wow! I mean, it's kind of like going to college. You know, I get to watch the best, do it every night.
Right. But see, the thing about it is, though, what I want to say is that this guy can sing. I mean, he's not just one of those, you know, the son of somebody that's okay. This guy can sing, and you're going to see that. Actually, you know what? We're going to go to a video right now. We're going to go to them singing Say a Little Prayer, which is one of my favorites. So check this out. Say a Little Prayer, Dionne Warwick and her son David. Check it out.
Together.
killer, man. Your voice is just mind-blowing. It kills me. I mean, first of all, him and I are gym rats. We work out at the gym all the time, every day. I didn't even know who he was. We were talking and everything, and he goes, one day he goes, you know, check this video out of me. And I said, okay. So I look at the video, and it was just him by himself. And then he goes, so what do you do? And I told him what I did. And he goes, well, you should come and see a show we're doing. I'm performing with my mother. And I went, okay, you know, his mom. I go, who's your mom? He goes, Dionne Warwick. And I went, hello. Now, you belong to a club, a very special club, which means that you can't get in it, you can't buy your way in it, you can't work your way in it. You have to be born into it, and that's being born into a very famous family. Now, people think automatically that you got it made because of that. You know what I mean? So, can you tell the viewers out there what's the good side and what's maybe the not so good side about being in a famous music family?
I would say, kind of knowing what I wanted to do with respect to show business, I got to see it at a level. It wasn't about what if, it was happening at the biggest level. You know, and kind of seeing my mom work, it was really interesting because she never let my brother or I know anything about the celebrity of it. It was about the craft. Right. But the other side to it is, you know, most people would feel, oh, you know, your mom's Dionne Warwick, all you got to do is pick up the phone, do this, do that. You know, I've never really been one that wanted to go down that road because I wanted to kind of have it on my own merit. A lot of times people would say, oh, you know, you're Dionne's son, do you sound like your mother? I think probably the best thing out of that whole scenario for me is that I am a male. If I were female, oh my God. You know, if it were daughter, wow, it'd be incredible. But I mean, you know, it's a double-edged sword. You get it on both ends. I mean, yeah, my mom always says, I can open up any door for you. But you got to walk through it. You know, and she's just really down to earth. She never hands it to my brother or I. You know, like I said, I had to audition for the drum seat. It wasn't like, here you go, go play. So, you know, it's a great thing. I mean, I would never downplay the fact I'm so proud of the accomplishments that her and my family have done.
Oh, absolutely.
But, you know, it's a double-edged sword. It's a fine line.
Well, you know, I always say, a lot of people, a lot of my artists that come in, they say, I know this one and I know that one, and my cousin's brother's that, and I always tell them, I said, look, you could be Clive Davis's son. You could be Clive Davis. The only thing about this relationship with somebody that you know somebody is that you can get indoors, like David was saying, you can get indoors quicker, but once you get in that door, if you don't have the goods, you're done.
And the expectation is always greater.
And exactly, that's where the downside will be, is that all of a sudden he's Dionne Warwick's son, Whitney Houston's cousin. All these famous people, it's like they think he's going to be great. Fortunately for him, he is great. Okay, and I'm serious. You know me.
Where's my
You're watching the Ask Dino show.
Let's go back to your drumming. Was your dad your main influence as far as playing when you were in trouble?
By far. I remember as a kid, 5, 6 years old, I would sit under his drum throne while he was doing gigs, kind of as a babysitting thing. And my dad would mesmerize me. He was so silky smooth on the trap. I mean, but he was a jazzer, hardcore jazz drummer.
Do you think, I mean, it seems like the drummers always are the best entrepreneurs. I'm not just saying this because I'm a drummer myself, but it always seems like drummers are the most entrepreneurs in the music industry.
Well, yeah, because we have to multitask. I mean, we're doing 5 different things at one time. You know what I mean? We got this foot keeping this meter, we got this foot on the hi-hat doing this hand's doing this. So your mind is always doing this independence thing. So yeah, I think if that correlates to life, yeah, there we have it.
And also, I always looked at it as drummers, because we're always in the back, and because we're pretty well just doing our thing and it's automatic. I was always observing everybody. I always, when you're singing, you gotta, and your guitar. But with drummers, we get to cruise, and I always observe. The reason that I got that I produce the way I do and the details is because I always observe people's reaction to music.
For sure.
And if I was going too fast, I could see them. I could know I'm going too fast. I'm going too slow. I mean, I could always tell the reaction. If this chorus worked or that thing, I could always watch people and their reactions. And most drummers are like that. And that's why a lot of drummers are producers.
Like you said, you give the audience the oomph. I mean, it's the beat, it's the rhythm.
You give the thunder. We had Jonathan Moffat in here. It was the same way, Now, Jonathan is like, Mr. Thunder himself.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be right back.
Hey, this is David Elliott, and you're watching the Ask Dino Show.
Dino. He knows.
A typical A-Klein day. Davey dropping by after school. Goomba Fred and Marie selecting a favorite piece. Just another A-Klein day. Or was it? It seems that word is getting out about A. Klein Chocolatier.
I wonder what their grandparents think.
And just when you think some people will never see eye to eye, it happens.
Can I help you?
That one.
No, that's my husband. Dead Hamlet.
I don't think so.
Wait a minute.
For 20 years, A. Klein Chocolatier bringing people together with sweet unity. A. Klein chocolates are all made by hand on the premises by expert chocolatiers, led by owner and celebrity chocolatier Don Campbell. All kinds of chocolates and gifts for every holiday and occasion. They bring people together in some ways you'd never expect. Like I said, just another day at A. Klein Chocolatier, the sweetest of unity.
Bye, Davy.
All people, all ages.
A. Klein Chocolatier in Claremont, California, and Village Candy Kitchen, Oak Tree Village, Yucaipa, California. World-class chocolates and gifts for all holidays and occasions. Order online at aklein.com. A. Klein Chocolatiers and Village Candy Kitchen, the sweetest of unity. You're watching the Ask Dino Show.
I want to talk about how you got the Stevie Nicks gig. I mean, you were brought up in this jazz, R&B, pop thing. How did you end up getting the Stevie Nicks gig?
Well, I was a rock and roll head as a kid, growing up. I loved Southern rock. The guy who I produced my last record that I did for Warner Brothers, he actually was the bass player for Stevie Nicks.
Okay.
And Stevie was doing a comeback tour. And
what year was this?
Oh wow, this is 96.
Okay.
95, 96.
That's not that long ago.
No.
Okay.
And they needed a drummer. So Don got me the audition, and I went down and played for her and her MD. And man, Carlos Rios,
yeah,
he was on the gig.
I know Carlos for years.
Yeah, Waddy Wattel.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, it was just, that was real rock and roll. You know, I mean, playing with my mom was a whole different headspace.
Right.
You know, we're talking about Burt Bacharach, a whole big orchestration, tuxedos.
Right.
And then to go in this rock and roll world.
Which probably helped you in your songwriting too, correct?
Yeah,
okay, because you got to do all these different aspects.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Now what I want to talk about is vocal timbre. Now the difference between vocal timbre and vocals and singing ability is two different things. And your mother is the ultimate example of this. Okay, and which I mean that is that when you hear Dionne Warwick's voice, she could sing "Mary Had a Little Lamb." You're going to know it's her.
Yeah.
She don't need to sing "Walk On By." She don't need to sing "Promises, Promises." You know that it's her, and that's what the young singers these days. They're so more worried about all the vocal calisthenics. I call it yodeling. Yeah. I'm not a singer, so I can't. All this stuff. It's like you know, you got guys like Joe Cocker, James Brown, your cousin Whitney, of course, Elton John, Luther, Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra. When you hear these voices, you know who they are.
For sure.
Okay, so can you give some advice now to these singers? And stop doing all the yodeling and stop doing all the licks and concentrate on your lead vocal timbre, because we know there's two different styles. There's a lead vocal timbre and a background timbre. Background timbre you're supposed to blend, so you don't have to be that different sound. Lead vocal timbre, you have to have this timbre that people can relate to. So can you give us some advice on how you worked on yours?
Well, I mean, you know, I had the greatest teacher ever.
Right.
You know, I had
you had the built-in teacher.
Whether I wanted it or not, it was there. You know, her and Luther I'd hear them talking about different singers and different styles and things to do while you're singing. And I remember Luther telling me one time, Luther Vandross,
okay.
Yeah. I remember him telling me one time, he said, look, when you do a lick, it's got to be special. So if you do it all the time, you lose the value of it. And my mom's whole thing is melody. Bert wrote incredible melody.
The best.
So, you know, I think it's just a different age now. I think that people, they try to out-sing each other. And it's so funny. I love it when my mom has to do either a duet or there's 3 or 4 singers on, and they're doing their thing, and, you know, they're holding their own. And then she just comes through nice and smooth with that big, rich voice, but she stays true to the melody of the song. And that's what gets people.
By the way, Walk On By is my anthem. Dionne, if you want to know. Anyway, so now, what I want to do now is I want to cut to a video of you.
Okay.
Okay, so I want you to listen to this man saying, this guy is really good, okay? David Elliott, check this out.
No time to be shy.
That was great, man. Killer, man. Killer. I told you. What did I tell you? Okay, now let's talk about your acting. You were hired to play none other than another great from the 60s, Sam Cooke, okay, in the movie Ali, Michael Mann and Will Smith movie. How did that come about? And first of all, I watched it the other day just because I knew we were going to do this. And I didn't know you back then. And I was like, oh, this guy's, cool, I mean, that was really good. So how did you get the gig? How did it come about? And tell us about the gig.
Cause it make it groove right when you feel it. Oh, make me want you when I got to feel it, baby. So don't fight it, no, don't fight it, baby, just feel it.
Well, a really good friend of mine, I liken him as my older brother. Mario Van Peebles played Malcolm X in the movie.
Right.
And they were shooting, and Mario called me one day, and he said, man, he goes, I said, how's it going out there? And he goes, oh, it's going great, but we're having some drama on the set. And I go, what's going on? They lost their Sam Cooke.
Who was it? Do you know who it was?
I believe it was Terrence Trent D'Arby.
Oh, boy.
And I think that he had some kind of scheduling conflict. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
But anyway, Michael Mann was on a crazy search for a Sam Cooke. And Mario called me, and I said, just jokingly, I said, man, I can do that. And he goes, man, I never thought about that. He goes, if it were my movie, because he's a great director, producer, he goes, you'd have the gig. He goes, but it's not my movie, so let me see if I can maybe get you an audition. Long story short, he got me the audition. I went in and I actually got to sing for Michael Mann, and I read for him, and the next thing I know, I'm in Trevor Horn's house, who produced Seal, who I'd always wanted to meet.
Yeah.
So we went to the studio. We were there for 2 hours. We cut almost that whole thing that night. They sent it to Michael's office, and the next thing I know, I had the gig, and then I was on set the next day.
Wow.
So I mean, literally, when the stars line up, they line up.
Okay, now I want to change over here. Your mom is going to be on the new Celebrity Apprentice. And I got to tell you, that is my favorite television show. I mean, Donald Trump is the ultimate instigator. He puts people together that he knows is going to be just like at each other. And this time he's got, of course, your mom has got, and there's Gary Busey and LaToya Jackson and Meatloaf. I mean, I know that your mother is no shrinking violet. You know what I mean? I had a student once who was who worked at Warner Chapel, and her whole thing was Burt Bacharach and your mom's catalog. And she, before I even met you, she told me that Dionne Warwick is someone that is professional, but someone you do not mess with.
Right.
And so I'm just imagining. I can't wait to see this. I'm just imagining what it's going to be like.
I'm as
your
excited
mom
as you.
And LaToya Jackson and Gary Busey is going to be killed. I can't wait for it to come out. So can you give us any little? You probably can't say a word about it.
Only thing I can say is stay tuned. It's going to be amazing. There's going to be some history made. Mark my words.
Another question that was brought to me by a lot of the viewers of the show to ask you. Why a cop? Why be a cop? Why you've got this great musical family, you got all these things going on, and you're very good. You're not somebody struggling. You're very good. Why go out? It's like, well, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get the most dangerous job in the world. I'm going to go out and get the job I can get killed at every day.
Right.
Why did you become a cop?
And I kind of wanted to do something so far and removed from my family because once again, I've always been that one guy in the family, and my brother's pretty much kind of like that, but I've always been that type of person. I don't want anybody to say, oh, you got this because of your mom. I want it, it's my own merit. And I think growing up with her, it's kind of, that shadow is huge. So if I can step out of it and create my own little shadow, wow, that feels good. I can hang my hat on something that's mine. So I said, well, what can I do that's completely against the grain? Become a cop.
So now, are you splitting up the two? You're still performing with your mom touring, and you're also a cop too? Or are you going to be doing both?
Well, yeah. What the interesting thing about it is, being a police officer, my department requires me to work a 312.
Yeah.
So I usually have 4 days off, bearing there's no court or something that I have to deal with. So on those 4 days off, if there's a gig that I can do, I can go out and keep my chops fresh.
That's great.
And that's the way it works.
Fantastic.
You're watching the Ask Dino show.
Tell us about your new songwriting. I know you're going to be doing maybe a different direction.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Well, let's just talk about your songwriting.
Well, I'm a country fanatic. I love country music. I think that coming from the songwriter's perspective, country music is probably one of the final frontiers for people who just want to write songs. And I've always had an affinity for just great lyrics, great stories. So that's kind of where I'm going. You know, I started back in '95. I'd gotten signed to Warner Brothers, and I did a Southern rock record, and it was really leaning into the country realm.
Right.
But now with guys like Darius Rucker opening the doors, because Nashville's a hard cookie to crack.
Right.
You know, we'll see what happens. You know, and now, you know, with the landscape of the industry, it's not as difficult. And I think your focus has to change a bit now. You know, before there was a gatekeeper, and if the gatekeeper didn't want to let you in, you couldn't get in. Via distribution, via exposure. But now with the internet,
right, the digital world is totally different.
It's up to you.
I keep reiterating this, you guys out there. Songwriting is where you make your money.
Yeah.
The performing, your merchandising, your record sales is one thing, but your publishing and your songwriting. So write the songs. Make sure that you write the songs, or at least co-write the songs. That's where you're going to make the money. Okay. Because of your vast experience, can you give some of the young artists out there some on making it and what they should do? Maybe, you know, maybe some stuff we didn't cover tonight.
Sure. I think, well, I mean, if you're trying to get into the industry, I think it's so important that you study. You gotta study. You gotta know your craft. I mean, if you go to a dentist, you want to make sure that he knows what he's doing before he works on you. You know, it's no different with a musician. You just gotta study. You gotta know everything that's going on around you. You got to pay attention to the ups and the downs, the changes in the music, and then study. You know, practice, and don't make practice work. Practice because you love it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because every time you pick up your axe, be it your guitar, your drums, whatever, that's an experience that you're gonna bring when you actually play in front of somebody else. You know, you just have to. You gotta study. That's all I can. You know, funny story about that.
Yeah.
Years ago, I remember we had a little studio set up at the house. And I would come home from school and I'd pretend I was on tour with someone that day.
Right.
I'd put on their record and I'd play the whole record down.
Right.
And then I started getting into soloing and doing all this, you know, as fast as I can go around the kit. And my mom would come in off the road and I said, "Hey Mom, come down, I want to show you something." So she came down and I put on my headphones and I was doing just the craziest drum solo you can imagine. And I had my eyes closed and I thought I was jamming. I opened my eyes, she was gone. I said, okay. So I ran upstairs, she was nowhere to be found. There was a note, "I'll be back." She came back, and I was downstairs practicing. She said, "Hey, come up." Came upstairs, and there was a gift. And I go, "Oh, you liked my playing, you got me a gift, right on." She's like, "Yeah, open it." It was a metronome. You know what I mean?
Oh, so yeah.
What she was saying is, yeah, as a drummer, keep time.
Keep time, that's your job.
And that's your job.
That's your job.
So back to what I was saying, know your job. If you're a guitar player, if you're a lead player, know your scales.
Right, and you also have to know your job of the day.
For sure.
You have to, one day you could be this drummer, or this kind of guitar player. The next day you could be another kind of guitar player. And then one day they want you to do solos. The next day you got to do rhythms. Don't try to force yourself on them. You're doing a job. They hire you for a job. I always tell guys, I say, look, you're just a keyboard player today. Okay, I want you to play keyboards. I want you to play what I want you to play. I don't need Patrick Moran's solos and all that stuff. Just play keyboards.
Less is more.
And so knowing your job is extremely important.
For sure, less is more. Remember
anyway, David, thank you for coming down, man. It was great.
I appreciate this.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. You guys, listen to this guy. Not only is he a great talent on his own. I mean, I love his family. I mean, I don't know them, but I love their work. But he can stand on his own. Okay. Another thing too, all you young people out there, if you don't know, and I'm sure that some of you don't know who Dionne Warwick is, because of the generation. Go out and look at some videos. Watch her sing. Check her out on Celebrity Apprentice, which she won't be singing, I'm sure. Maybe she will, but at least you'll get to know her again, and then go check out her music, because you really, really got to listen to her style. Okay, first of all, I want to thank Don Campbell, who gave us this great chocolate down here. I mean, of A-Klein chocolates. It's fantastic. Thank you, Don, for that. I want to thank our director, Gordon Michael, our producer, David McNeil, our artist, Jeff Maddalone, Steve on the boards, James here helping us with the cameras today. We got a lot more shows coming up. Please stay tuned. My name is Dino Maddalone. This is the Ask Dino Show, and thank you for watching. Hey everybody, look, it's Don Campbell, the celebrity chocolatier. And she brought down all these great chocolates because she loves David's music so much, and his mother's and his cousins. Hey everybody, look, it's Don Campbell, the celebrity chocolatier. And she brought down all this chocolate from A-Klein Chocolatier. Oh, Belly. Hey, say it, tell me it again.
Village Candy Kitchen.
Village Candy Kitchen. That's a lot. Village Candy Kitchen, Oakland, California. A-Klein Chocolates in Claremont. It's the best chocolate I've ever had. Again. Village Candy Kitchen, Oakland, California. A-Klein Chocolates in Claremont, California. This is Dawn Campbell, the celebrity chocolatier. She brought all this candy down for David. Loves his music. It's fantastic. David, salute. The best. Dawn Campbell, thank you so much. You guys got to check this chocolate out. It is the best. A-Klein and the other place.
Dino, he knows.